What's up, guys? Dylan here, your host with the most toys. Room full of toys. Just checking in before we check out some more. This time it is from the Marvel Legends Retro Carded Series. The old Marvel Universe, Marvel Superheroes Throwback, Amazing Spider-Man series, Bombastic Bagman. Yes! Got this sucker from Target. Came with a free sticker. At least it's not right on the front. I know, they're pushing the plastic-free packaging more than anybody. Blind boxes, if you will. Blind boxes. It's mostly weird, I think, because there's just been such a long-running trend of in-package collectors, and how else do you display them? These are prime. This is the old-school throwback blister-carded toy. This is prime for display like this. A lot of us are real sick, twisted creatures buying 2 of all of them. As these go, they either go away entirely or they make exceptions. I don't mind the occasional exception. But you know what? Between me and the wall, I don't mind the plastic-free because it's less crap to break down and dispose of. Boo this man! He hates collecting garbage! No, man, I collect toys. And I already feel weird enough about the plastic content of the toy itself. They just are plastic. It's poison, right? Poison for the environment, and it's probably poison for people. This whole room is poisoning me slowly. It's in my brain. It's leaching into my brain. Tearing into the toy, it is often as simple as just breaking into the bottom here. And pull this sucker right out. Removing the figure itself. A couple of little accessories, gently. Out of the package, we feature the figure and a few accessories. In Amazing Spider-Man issue 258, Pete goes to the Fantastic Four for help with his new costume, which may be alive. Reed wants to keep it for a while to study it. So, meantime, they hook him up with a spare Fantastic Four costume. His identity being a secret, of course, throws this bag on his head and he goes on his way. Fun fact, this happened the year I was born. Look that up, true believers. Getting a closer look at the figure, there's really only like one part here that we haven't seen before, and that is this bagged head. This is a sculpted plastic deal. If you look up in there, you can see it is molded over an actual head. I suppose if a fella heated the thing and whatnot, you could separate it, and who knows what horrors would await you. But you can see the eyes through the holes in the bag, so that's nice. Sculpted wrinkles over it. A little paint wash would be cool. But y'all know how they do. It's this nice, simple, classic Fantastic Four costume. Sans boots, because, he wants to be able to stick to the walls. So they did design these sweet little, whatever you would call that. I think that is pretty rad, them even being bare feet. There's no peg holes. I think that there should be, but they have stuck the writing and things like that down here. Aesthetically, it's very clean, very appealing. It looks really nice all on its own, and, I'm all about them taking any new opportunity to do it a little better, to get the colors a little brighter, the logos a little bolder. However, in a move that should surprise no one, it actually matches nothing. Here is Reed Richards. You can see this is a lighter color, and the logo is bigger. The gloves hit at different heights. It should just straight up match this, These people have no idea what they're doing. They throw all this away. They don't keep notes. They just don't care. That's the simplest way to put it, right? Even though they give you this cool deep cut figure. The thing about Mr. Fantastic, too, is his power with the figures means that you can swap these arms out for stretchable arms. So it's the same body. So you could do that, which is funny because these are just cast plastic. It's not like it was laying around with this design and they were stuck with it. So on that note, it's like, why wouldn't you just make that off of the Spider-Man body? Because it's Spider-Man. It's Peter Parker, Spider-Man. They do share the same legs, the old Pizza Spider-Man body, and I think the arms as well. But that is the Fantastic Four torso, the Reed Richards torso, whatever. So if you're familiar with any of the Mr. Fantastic bodies that they've reused several times now, that's exactly what you get here with the new bagged head and bare feet. Aesthetically, it does what it's supposed to. I don't knock it for the reuse. I think this is a sweet little deep cut figure that doesn't even need to exist. For accessories, he comes with an extra set of open wall crawling hands. The ones that have been reused with Spider-Man figures before, I think those are perfect here. And the little kick me sign that Johnny happened to stick on his back on his way out. That has a little plug there. Goes right into the back for once. I'm not mad about the peg hole. How cool is that? Come on. Come on. These, of course, port right onto here. And so you end up with everything except web whipping hands that Spider-Man would get. I don't believe he had web shooters with him because the costume was making its own organic webbing. A Peter Parker head would be cool, but not at all necessary. Us real deal fans here might have one like this. We'll just go ahead and see if that pops onto here. Oh, I can hear a little bit of stress. And it is, of course, the old school disc hinge. Watch out, these can be a little fragile. Oh, but that Pete Parker head pops right on. And it looks good. Look at that. Jumping in the way back machine, the first issue of Spider-Man, he tries to join the Fantastic Four. So a lifelong comic fan like me is absolutely in love with this nonsense. For articulation, this is essentially a repaint. We all know what to expect. For essentially a Spider-Man figure, though, I wish they had fully reused the pizza body and with the butterfly shoulders. No, I wish they would have just put it on a newer body. What am I saying? Come on now. Come on now. I mean, but this had to save them like, 2 or 3 cents, right? To put it not only on an older frame, but on the Mr. Fantastic body, essentially, with bare feet. So while the articulation isn't bad, it definitely leaves much to be desired. This head, because of the bag, it's obstructed a little bit. You can't look back very far. I wish they had ruffled this or done something, because it is Spider-Man. He can't even look, But you can look down a little bit, and you only get a little bit of tilt because the head is so big. That disc hinge is very limiting. Ball-jointed shoulders, rotate all the way around, bicep cut, double-jointed elbow. We'll just fly through this sucker. You guys know how it is. Hinge and swivel at the hands. Ab crunch, down this far, back this far, waist twist. Doing the splits this way, upper thigh cut, double jointed knees, visible pins, feet that'll come back this far, forward this far. I do want to say though, Hasbro's old reused articulation is still a lot better than a lot of other companies' brand new toys. Chiefly, the forward facing pin down here at the foot. If I gap that out enough, you can kind of see that the peg hole for the foot pin goes straight into the foot, and really that is what allows for the best ankle rocker. My opinion, that is one of the best modern amenities in action figure articulation. It really ups the believability. You're able to spread the legs and then plant the feet flat on the floor. So nothing we haven't seen before, but we should expect a little more. Now if you're just going to keep your guy in the retro card, who cares all day, right? The Marvel Legends Bombastic Bagman stands about 6 5/8 of an inch tall to the top of his bag, man. And for comparison, here he is next to a couple of other variations of the symbiote suit that he would later shun. The old pizza unit on the left there with the more 90s aesthetic. As well as this specific shape and dot on the hands. And then the newer, better articulated, but more classic design. Both fine figures. I'm sure they're just waiting to put that deco on this body. It'd charge us a few bucks more, you know what I'm saying? How about next to the classic red and blue Renew Your Vows Spidey? And his old pal Johnny, the retro-carded retro costume version. Of course, it's the same costume, it's just after a trip to the negative zone, the colors flipped. Compared to some more diverse body types, the thing on the left is the future the suit wanted for them. Venom. With a ballpoint pen. And on the right, that's Mary Jane, the mighty Spinneret. Couple of ninja in the 6-inch scale. That is a G.I. Joe classified Storm Shadow and the articulated Icons Deluxe Black Ninja. With bare arms from the Arms, Hands, and Wraps pack. From the Whoosh, baby! I'm not even going to pan back as we creep up the scale. That is the Marvel Legends Hulk in 6-inch and the Marvel Select in 7-inch. You guess which is which. Hanging out in that 7-inch scale, we have the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse movie Black Adam and Superman. Old bag boy caught between the rock and a hard place. I'ma beat you up and build you a computer. And finally, here he is next to the Mezco 112 Wolverine and the Marvel Legends Morning Coffee Mostly Bucky Cap Deadpool. So when it's all said and done, is this bombastic Bagman worth your time and money? $23, $25, whatever this thing is. It's Target exclusive, so if you're not on it before too long, it'll be an eBay exclusive. You may have a little more lead time. This is just a repaint, and it's a really, really lazy one at that. It's hard because, like, overall, I like the thing. It goes on the retro card. But it's like time and again, we're giving these people a pass for lazy garbage. All it had to do was match the other retro Fantastic Fours. And sure, if you, like, gouge one of your eyes out and, like, someone is offering you millions of dollars to lie, you might say that it matches the other ones. The little kick me accessory for the back is super cool. But just, again, of all the bodies they could have used, why use that Mr. Fantastic torso? Like, what is the deal with that? Why was that the pick? The black paint they used is a high gloss where it's matte on the other Fantastic Four's costumes. It's still neat enough to put in there, but it's like there's no other recourse. You either eat the imperfections and buy the thing or you don't. No one else is making one of these, you know? And that's the cool part with all the reuse and everything else. That's part of it. That's what allows them to crank out like 200 figures a year and you know, is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? I like the idea that, frankly, I can get like every iteration of every character conceivably over the life of this line. It's not like a Mafex. I'm not trying to knock those guys, but what? I'm on that X-Men collection, and I might complete one team from one era. Probably not. I really don't have any confidence in that. Yes, they're nicer figures. They're not 4, 5 times, 6 times nicer though. But really, what's the level of effort that went into this Bagman figure? Like almost nothing. Almost nothing. They didn't even look at the figures that they were trying to replicate. It's supposed to be a specific costume that matches, and it doesn't. The articulation is serviceable, but it's old. And you know what? The ankle articulation, and more on their Marvel Legends figures, I notice, it's really tight. I love the rocker. I've said this before, but it's really tight on these feet to the point where if you're not careful, I mean, I'm starting to see like stress marks appearing just trying to articulate the foot on this dude. I thought I had one other gripe, but I mean, no. This one is pretty much what you see is what you get. You're not going to be surprised. You're not going to be blown away. But if you're like me, you might enjoy having that callback to this particular adventure from the comics. Objectively, I guess I would say buy the thing if you could find it for less than retail. Thank you guys so much for stopping by, listening to me yammer about toys. Let this video play through to the end. It'll show YouTube that this thing is worthwhile. Leave a like to further show that support, and consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. I spend most of my free time working on this. So, loser! No, thanks again, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day.